Let's talk about the recent police shooting of Dexter Reed, specifically about the tactics used and the application of a pretext stop. What is a pretext stop? A pretext stop is when a police officer stops a suspect based on an observable traffic violation, not in order to investigate the actual traffic violation, but in order to be able to stop and detain the suspect to investigate an unrelated crime. For example, a police officer may stop a car for a burnt-out taillight at 2 in the morning in order to investigate if the driver is impaired by drugs or alcohol, all the way up to stopping a car with an expired license plate believed to be operated by a suspect of a murder. They occur every day across the United States and have resulted in the arrest of multiple violent felons. The most famous example of this was the arrest of Timothy McVeigh just 90 minutes after the Oklahoma City bombing. Shortly after the bombing, Trooper Charlie Hanger was directed to patrol his area in Noble County, Oklahoma, instead of responding to the incident to look for suspicious vehicles leaving the area. He observed a vehicle driving away from the location with an expired plate and stopped McVeigh. McVeigh was found to have an illegal and concealed Glock in his possession. He was arrested and later tied to the bombing. Pretext stops have been going on for years, and their legality has been upheld by the Supreme Court. Yet, in regards to the Reed shooting, this was recently aired on CNN.
However, it started with an unconstitutional, pretextual, and unnecessary stop.
This is incorrect and not factual. In 1996, in Wren versus the United States, the Supreme Court ruled that as long as an officer has probable cause to believe a traffic violation has occurred, they can stop a vehicle even if the stop is actually motivated by a desire to investigate other criminal activity. The YouTube channel Quimby has a good breakdown of this case 3 years ago. Check out their channel for excellent breakdowns of case law. Let's look at their explanation.
James Brown was driving his car with Michael Wren as a passenger. Both were young African-American men. They were driving in an area known for illegal drug sales. Police officers patrolling the area for drug offenses observed Brown and Wren stop at an intersection for an unusually long time. The officers became suspicious that the men were drug dealers. At that point, however, the officers lacked probable cause or even reasonable suspicion that the men were selling drugs. The officers continued to observe the men and eventually saw Brown commit some minor traffic infractions. The officers stopped the car and approached the driver's side. In plain view, an officer could see plastic bags containing what appeared to be crack cocaine in Wren's hands. The officers arrested Wren and Brown and searched the car as an incident to arrest, finding more illegal drugs. A federal grand jury indicted Wren and Brown for federal drug offenses.
In the case of the Reed shooting, this was almost assuredly the case. Why? Because Reed was stopped by at least 2 unmarked Chicago police vehicles and confronted by 5 officers in non-traditional uniforms. In law enforcement, these units are often referred to as jump-out boys for their popular tactic of boxing a vehicle in, jumping out of their cars, and confronting a suspect. A great example of this type of unit activity was in a recent shooting in Scottsdale, Arizona, where the Scottsdale Police Department killed a suspect and rescued a kidnapped victim. Additionally, Reed was under investigation for a previous charge of illegal use of a firearm. Lastly, the tactical unit involved probably had reasonable suspicion to believe that he was en route to commit additional crimes, as he can be observed wearing what appears to be a black baklava on a day in Chicago that saw temperatures in the mid-40s. A larger controversy in all this is the use of force, specifically the firing of approximately 96 rounds by law enforcement, which will be discussed in another video. Thanks for watching, and please return to watch other videos.